I am announcing today my candidacy for the United States Congress. When people ask me why, I tell them it is about our families. The families we come from, the families we have, and the families our children will have. When you look at the way things are and the way they're heading, it seems to me you have two choices. You can talk about it or you can do something. And I've decided to do something. My candidacy for Congress has deep roots in this community and this state. My meme used to work in the cafeteria here when this was Nassau College. My Pepe was born in the house about a mile from here on Goodwin Street, where my cousins and my dad still live. He worked in the Sanford Mills and for Hussey's Seating and later at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. Though they didn't have much, my grandparents worked hard their whole lives and raised 3 children, centering their lives around the importance of family, education, and hard work. My father and his 2 sisters not only passed on these valuable life lessons to my cousins, my brother and I, but I applied them beyond their family, centering their professional lives and personal time around public service. My Aunt Lorraine became a respected social worker. My Aunt Linda became a teacher and has been involved in foster care and care for the elderly, while my father, Roland Cote, made a lifelong career of teaching, coaching, and town government. I learned many lessons also from my mother's side of my family. My mother has dedicated her life to community service ever since I remember, and her father, having been a Maine guide, introduced me to Maine's natural beauty, the importance of our environment, and our obligation to improve it and preserve it for future generations. He also served in the Marines during World War II and was one of the first waves of Marines to land on Iwo Jima. He saw the flag being raised on Mount Suribachi, and he was one of the few Marines in his unit that survived to secure the airstrip on that island. He instilled in me a great sense of patriotism and service to my country. I share a bit of my family's biography with you because I feel blessed to have grown up with role models that not only lived these values themselves, but expected that I live my life accordingly. I'm blessed to have been surrounded by people who, by example, imbued in me an understanding of community involvement and public service, the importance of contributing as a citizen to the common good, and most importantly, the realization that government can play a positive role in people's lives. These core beliefs have shaped who I am and how I have lived my life up to this point. They are beliefs I'll pass on to my children, and they are part of the reason I stand here before you today. I also stand before you as a representative of a generation that has come of age when our nation is at war, our environment is threatened by the degradation of global climate change, our federal deficit has reached a level unprecedented in our nation's history, and a lack of good-paying jobs, rising costs of education, energy, and health care are making it harder and harder for working families to make ends meet. There are 535 members of Congress. Very few of them grew up in working families. Most of them are career politicians that have spent most of their lives running for one political office or another. They enjoy job security and one of the best health care plans in our country. And although they have been spending much of their time lately debating the war in Iraq, only one of them has served there. For me, these great problems facing our country, the war in Iraq and the squeezing of working families trying to get by, are not abstract political issues to debate at dinner parties or cozy conference rooms. They are real. They are about people's lives, people's hopes, dreams, plans, and aspirations. I served my nation in Bosnia and in Iraq and have seen both the positive and the negative aspects of U.S. foreign policy. Several of those who served in Iraq with me are here today, and I thank them for coming. I thank them for taking time out of their busy lives, and I thank them for their service. There were 500 of us from Maine that went to Iraq. small business owners, students, factory workers, teachers, and even a couple lawyers. We spent a year of our lives working long hours, day and night, under dangerous conditions, to do all that we could to help the people of that country. We built schools, medical clinics, improved the civilian infrastructure in Iraq, and we represented a cross-section of Maine, true citizen soldiers. And we were proud of our service to our state, and we were proud of our service to our nation. Unfortunately, we also witnessed the incredible failures of an administration that did not recognize or did not want to recognize long-standing principles of international law, the limits of an under-equipped and undersized military, and especially the cultural complexities of the Middle East. We know that Congress hasn't done much better. The failure of our congressional oversight committees to address war profiteering, inadequate outfitting of our troops, the harsh treatment of prisoners, and poor medical care for those of us returning from the battlefield will go down in U.S. history as a black eye. And we know that the military, while powerful, cannot solve all the world's problems. When you have lived all that we have lived, you understand better than the politicians in Washington the very real impact that the decisions they make have on people's lives. It's not about scoring political points or improving poll ratings or playing a board game with the countries of the world. It is about people's lives. It is about not only building the very best country we can here at home, but letting the people of the world see again a United States that stands for all that is hopeful and just and good and right. It is about the real world, and it is about real lives, not political parlor games and inside the Beltway partisanship. I am running for Congress because I believe we need more men and women in Washington with real-world experience. The world of hard work and paying bills and educating our kids. Pauline and I are raising 2 little girls with a third on the way. Like all parents, we want to pass on to our children a world that is better than what we found it. And I believe we can. I believe we're not only a powerful nation, but we are a compassionate nation. A nation that cares about our elderly, our children, our veterans, our environment, our quality of life, and our standing in the global community. I believe that if we are truly committed to passing on to our children a world that is better than it is today, we need leaders in Washington who understand that vision. Leaders who understand the struggles of working families and the need to maintain the financial viability of our Social Security system and our Medicare program while working to create similar benefits for the millions of Americans, especially children, who do not have health care. Leaders committed to having an educational system encouraged and supported by the government that will equip our children for the lives they will live in the global economy of the 21st century. And leaders who know that our reliance on Middle Eastern oil leads to the degradation of our environment and comes at a cost of human lives far greater than we can be willing to accept. I'll make you only one promise, that if you elect me to Congress, I will never forget where I come from and where we are all struggling every day to go. When I see all that I can see, I can no longer sit on the sidelines and not take action. Those of us that can act owe too much to our grandparents, our parents, our spouses, and our children. That is why I'm here today as a candidate for the United States Congress, and that is why I ask you to join me to stop talking about our problems and start working together to solve them. Thank you.